Hello, everyone, and welcome to Versus Live. I'm Ross Merriam.
And I'm Corey Ballmeister.
And we've got Rob in the booth. Say hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Rob will be taking all of your questions, comments, concerns, and burns in the chat. Make sure to tag at Star City Games so he can see them and send his favorites over to us. Today, we are playing some Modern, but we are doing it specifically to feature a deck that really broke out over this last weekend.
Yeah.
Took second, third, and fourth place in the Lotus Box event. Had multiple other top 8s across the various online tournaments, challenges, super qualifiers, things like that. And really is, I think, now the default Lurrus deck for Modern.
Yeah.
And not one we had played on the show yet. This is Rakdos, Prowess, sometimes Mardu. I guess sometimes they touch a little bit of white.
Yeah, sure.
Like one Sacred Foundry and some Sunday Canyons, but sometimes they don't. But really, Rakdos base. And the move over to black was really motivated by Cling to Dust.
Yeah.
We saw Liss move into full sort of red-white, full Boros, because they wanted to play Path Exiles and some other white cards. Black gives you Fatal Push, which is similar to Path in that it's just hard removal, not limited by size.
Yeah.
But really, Cling to Dust is the big one. And it was very impressive all weekend when we saw this deck. It's just a cheap cantrip, which obviously the Prowess deck is in the market for.
Yeah. And I mean, you get to hit all the fetch lands and stuff, so you can target yourself with it to kind of keep drawing cards. You can also hit Uro, which is pretty big in Modern right now, to just eliminate that, because that is a tough card to deal with. So, I mean, it is a really nice, innovative take, and shocking that it's Piotr Glukowski who pioneered the list and even beat me in the challenge where he made it to the top 8. But yeah, the deck impresses me a lot. And one thing I didn't like about the Lurrus burn decks is it was really one-dimensional. Like, it was basically mono red splashing for Path, and then you get Lurrus and stuff like that, but there wasn't too much white, Yeah. And so like core Firewalkers were able to like just take over that deck. Boards and Forge Tenders, similar to, you were doing that with Lurrus and in your rally deck, right? You're playing Forge Tender? Or
in Zombie Copter.
In Zombie Copter, that's what I meant.
Forge Tender, was very good against the more aggressive, straightforward versions.
Exactly.
When they have, good removal and this long game plan that Cling to Dust provides, because not only is it a cheap cantrip, it sits there late in the game. And when you start to flood, you start escaping that.
Or just turn 8,
Yeah. The deck really can play long games, even though it can also, just kill you on turn 4.
Yeah.
And that duality is really, really powerful, because your opponent has to be scared from the early turns. And normally, when you're playing against decks like this, you're willing to sacrifice some of your late game position in order to ensure that you get to the mid game.
Yeah.
And if you do that against this deck, you're going to lose in those mid and late game scenarios a lot more often.
Unless you're doing something way over the top, like Scape Shift comboing off, then you can still sacrifice that. But if you're trying to be a fair deck and attack the deck that way, it doesn't work very well.
If you're trying to play just like Jund, which we will later in the show, that's, I think, a key matchup where this dichotomy comes into play, which is why we're shocasing it. Normally, if I'm playing a Jund deck against Prowess, I'm just killing their stuff on site. I know that if the game goes somewhat long, I'm favored, more individually powerful cards. Now, I don't know if that's even the case.
Yeah, I don't know either. I haven't played a ton with it, but I did do my drop and bomb on Canister's list here, and it is a delight. This deck is very powerful. It's the real deal. It's the first Lurrus deck that I've really loved, I mean, I just miss my Yorion so much already, just switching it up to Lurrus, but I'm making do, and I'm living with it.
Yeah.
But.
So Corey is going to be on the Rakdos Prowess side all day. I'm going to go up against him with a gauntlet of other high-performing decks in the format.
And a pretty good spread, too. Like, really aggressive to mid-range to control. Like, it's going to be interesting to see if this deck can surpass these different decks.
Corey, this is going to be quite the betrayal for your Yorion.
For my Yorion? I know. I do feel betrayed. I'm even making a Corian.
You're the one doing the betraying.
I know. Well, I feel like if I only play Yorion, then people aren't going to recognize that Yorion is the best deck, because they're like, that's all you play. You don't try other stuff. Now that I'm trying other stuff, after I even draw my opening hand, I can for sure confirm that Yorion is still the best
So
deck.
what you're going to say is you're going to sabotage yourself on this show to let Yorion win.
Should I give you the marbles now?
Okay. Yeah. Well, in this gauntlet, I am not going to be starting with a Yorion deck. I'm actually going to be starting with Obosh. This is a Gruul Obosh deck. This list took second place in one of the challenges over the weekend.
Okay.
I actually lost the finals of the Saturday challenge to Edgar Magayesh.
Yeah.
On the you're in Scape Shift deck.
And Edgar actually knocked this out of the top 8 in Canister, beat him in the top 8, so pretty interesting.
Yeah, this Gruul Obosh deck, I saw multiple copies across different top 8s. There's 2 different builds, essentially. This list is going with Luca at the top end, and you have 1 Emrakul, and no creatures that cost more than 3. So if you target any 3-drop, you're guaranteed to get the Emrakul.
Okay.
There are lists that don't play that, instead just play Glorybringer at the top end, a little bit more straightforward. I decided to try out the, let's say, a little bit more powerful,
a little bit of spice.
Fun. The spicier version of the deck. So hopefully we get some of that going, but just pretty straightforward, like mana creatures, good removal.
Yep.
A little bit of good removal, Bone Crusher Giant, Lightning Bolt, and then powerful creatures. So I don't think I want to get into a super long game here unless I'm Emrakuling you.
Yeah.
But it's nice that I have that almost I win button later in the game that you have to be worried about.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be helpful. That'll force you to play a little bit more aggressively and not just play for the long game, which is one of the reasons I wanted to play this version over the one with Glorybringer.
Yeah.
So I honestly think that you could just grind Glorybringer out.
Yeah, Glorybringer doesn't seem great. I mean, it is definitely a powerful card, and my removal actually doesn't line up with it very well. So Glorybringer probably would be pretty good against me now I think about it. Fatal Push Bolts. I'm not doing too much against that card.
You got a Soulscar Mage you down. But if you do, then you're in good shape. And it gives you more answers to Lurrus. So there's definitely some advantages to Glorybringer. But.
Yeah. Normally I just get to kill all the creatures in the Obosh deck, though. But when you have that long-term plan, it gets to be a little trickier. So
you can kill a creature that I target in response to the Luca activation.
That's true.
That's going to be important. So a lot of cool dynamics here. Hopefully we see them play out in some fun games.
Shall we battle?
Let's get into it.
All right, let's do it. Let's see how busted this Rakdos Prowess deck truly is.
I will be on the play here for match
lucky.
1, game 1, and this hand does not have a mana creature.
Okay.
3 lands and 4 3-drops, so I think we can safely mulligan that.
Yeah, that's not great. This hand is not excellent either. I don't have a ton of interaction, but it's good enough to keep, especially with you being on a mulligan. So I'm going to keep it.
Lucky.
Yeah, I know. Ross starting off on mulligans and me keeping all the hands. Classic versus live here. All right, Rob, do you got any questions for us right away?
I actually do, dealing with Ross's sideboard.
Okay.
Ruleborn wants to know, is Trinisphere a good sideboard card in a Lurrus meta?
I would not say it's not particularly good against some of the Lurrus decks, but I think against Prowess, it's like doesn't seem bad.
Yeah.
It really is going to slow down your development. It makes Lurrus a difficult card to get immediate value from.
Yep.
It makes the Prowess creature significantly worse. So that's definitely a card I could see for a matchup like this.
Culligan's Command feels pretty bad when they have that, but
that is a problem.
I mean, honestly, isn't just Damping Sphere kind of the same? Except,
Yeah, better against big mana decks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've had people play Damping Sphere against me, and it's rough. I had to kill it. I killed it and then just won the next turn.
I mean, to be fair, you can't play Damping Sphere in this deck.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
Or you could, but you lose your companion.
That's true. Okay. That's fair.
Okay.
That hand better?
Yeah, so significantly better. I think this is a card that I'm going to be looking to sideboard out, so that'll be the one that goes to the bottom.
All right, let's do it.
Forest Birds.
Bird. All right, I just have a Soulscar Mage. Pass to you. Would love to have bolted the bird. Believe it or not, I did not have it.
I'm going to go to 18 and play a Clothis.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
Sounds good. All right, that was a pretty good draw. See what we want to do here. All right, let's go with Seal Fire. Trigger this. That's the beginning of your
pre-combat main phase.
Pre-combat main phase. Okay. Whatever. We're going to go like this. Seal this. Then I'm going to cling my seal. Draw. Bobble. Hit you for 4.
I'm at 14.
All right, and then I'll pass to you.
Okay. I will draw. On my draw step, I will bolt the Soulscar Mage.
Okay.
Go to pre-combat main, remove the Soulscar with the Clothis.
Okay.
I go to 16, you go to 18.
Yep.
And then I'll pass the turn.
All right. I probably want to bobble you. Okay. I will untap, draw 2. 1, 2. All right, so now I got plenty of options here. Lurrus on the table to bring back a bauble. Seems like the initial standout card, or the standout play. But let's think through all our options first. It just has to be that, I would imagine. So let's sack this.
17.
I'm just going to get the basic swamp. I want to conserve my life total a little bit here.
I'm also a Magus of the Moon deck, so.
That's true as well. All right, so we'll go with Lurrus and Bauble. I don't want to sack Bauble now, so I'll just pass to you. And it is non-creature or land you add mana. Yeah. Otherwise, it is the 2 damage.
Once again, I'm going to hold priority in the draw step, and we'll stomp the Lurrus.
Okay. All right, that's pretty good.
And I'll exile the Lurrus with the Clothis.
Okay.
I go to 18, you go to 15.
That was mean.
Pass the turn.
All right, I'll bobble you. Okay. Draw 2. 1, 2. All right, let's start with a Swift Spear.
Yep.
And let's Metamorphose. I'll go red-black.
Sure.
Now let's go with Abbott. Reveal. Sack to 15.
You go into 14.
You got me at 14?
Is that what you have, Rob? Yeah.
Okay. I believe
you fetched twice and you've taken 4 from Clothis.
Okay. I believe I am usually the person who gets the life totals wrong, so I will trust in all of you. All right, so I'll play the seal. I'm at 14. You're at 18, correct?
Yes.
I just trust Ross because he's a math guy.
Yeah, that's true. So I played Metamorphose Seal, so this should be for 3.
Yep, I'm at 15.
All right, and pass to you. Clothis is quite good.
I'm going to exile your Wooded Foothills.
Okay, add mana.
Make red.
Okay.
And just kill both your creatures.
Alrighty.
Pass the turn.
That's obnoxious.
Think if I just protect my life total, kill the creatures now that the Lurrus is gone forever.
Yeah.
You know, the Clothis will take over. No reason.
Okay. I'm going to play a Soulscar Mage.
Yep.
And I'm going to play a Cliffs and pass to you.
Exile the Swift Spear.
All right, in response, I'll return it and deal 2. Or how many cards you got?
3.
Deal 2 to you.
Okay. Should have exiled any other card. Literally just picked the top card off the top.
Yeah, I like it. That's what I was hoping. So no life gain loss there was the no drain for 2 there, y'all. That was the main reason to wait.
Yeah. I'll just play a Bone Crusher.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
All right. Let's start with... Oh, I should probably play this first. I'll play a Swift Spear.
Yep.
Cling a Bolt. Draw. Then I'll play a land, and I'll attack with these 2. Played 1 spell.
There are 2 3s right now?
2 3s, yep.
Okay, well, I'm going to force you to cast spells. If you tap out for Cling, then that's fine. They'll trade.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just block Soulscar Mage.
Okay, I'll give it 2.
Oh, you have the seal on board. That's still fine. Yeah. I still just want you to trade resources.
Yeah, that's a lot of resources.
This is just spell, not abilities.
Yep, so take 2.
At 11?
Yep, and my creature doesn't die because of Soul Scour, y'all, because it puts counters on. And then I will pass to you.
I will...
So 11 to 14, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I will attempt to exile the Abbot.
Okay, in response.
No matter what I target, Corey can Cling it in response.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to target a creature so that he doesn't get a card.
But Ross forgets that I can just escape that. that I can just escape.
Oh yeah, you can just exile it. That's also possible.
Yeah, Cling just messes your thing up anyways. So I'm gonna exile this land. We'll leave the other Cling. Let's get rid of Metamorphose and K command, and we'll take your Lightning Bolt.
Okay. The real idea was to just get you to tap out so I could stomp this in response to the trigger.
In response to the trigger. Okay. Well, that worked.
Yeah.
That worked. Okay.
So that's fine.
So that creature is dead.
So no matter what I do, Cling is going to mess up Klothys.
Yep.
This is on an adventure.
Okay.
And then I'll pass a turn.
All right, and you're at 11.
I'm at 11.
Okay.
4 cards in hand.
Yep. All right, so let's start with one of my favorite creatures of all time, Abbott. I'll play a land. I will sack.
You go to 12.
Okay. So I have to get a Blood Crypt. Now I have to think about taking damage here. I think I just want to take a hit. Yeah, I'll take it, go down to 10.
Yep.
All right. Now let's play another Abbott. Okay. I will bolt you.
I go to 8.
I will Thoughtseize you.
You get a Seasoned Pyromancer.
Okay, and I go to 8 as well. So that's just 2 spells. So 3 more.
I go to 5.
All right, and pass to you.
Okay, I will exile a Cling to Dust.
Okay.
So you go to 6, I go to 7.
True. 6 to 7. Yeah, this closest is doing some nice racing, that's for sure. Bony Crush.
Yeah, play a 4/3.
All right.
That's a turn.
I have a feeling I should kill you, but I definitely do not have it set up yet.
Well, you need any spell.
Well, I have Cling, but...
Yeah, any spell after the Cling.
Oh, okay.
Because I block 1 and that's 7 with any spell.
Okay, I guess this also does it then.
Yes, that will do it.
Okay, Cling. Let's see if we would have drawn. We'll hit your Lightning Bolt.
I don't even think I removed the 1 from the previous.
Draw. Well, I definitely needed it. I did not have anything else.
Yeah.
So just 1 by the skin of my teeth there. That was intense.
So really just the one like lazy misstep with the Klothys, where if I just target a non-creature, like especially I like there was a Cling at the bottom. I just wasn't paying attention to it.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter if it's a creature or it's just non-land or land that Klothys separates. So either you add mana or just hit anything. Yeah.
If I exile the Cling with on the turn that you K commanded, then I get the second Cling when I got the first one, and you don't even have a Cling on that turn.
Yeah. No, that was a big...
And I have 2 more life. So
that was a big misstep, because you also want to take the Swift Spear. That is the card you want to take, realistically, because it's the only thing I can bring back and attack with you. So that is correct, but with having mana open, it's not correct, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so
all right.
Make sure you're careful with your Klothys. I would have won that game.
But he didn't, so let's go. We are going to head to sideboarding and see if Ross can target the right thing with Klothys for the second game. Not really a sideboarding problem, I guess, but we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with sideboarding here on Versus Live.
Welcome back to Versus Live, where we are sideboarding in our matchup between Gruul, Obosh, and Rakdos Prowess.
Yes.
On my side, Magus of the Moon and Pillage are just not effective in the matchup, so want to get all of them out. We get to bring in a little bit of life gain, which is nice, and Anger of the Gods, which is great. Exile-based removal. It is going to kill some of our creatures, but we can navigate around that. It'd be especially good if we have a Utopia Sprawl draw.
Yeah, and honestly, this is so hard for me to play around, because the only way for me to do so is to leave open 2 mana. You don't win as a Prowess deck by leaving open 2 mana. You know, I mean, I have to be doing stuff during my turn, so...
There's only 1. What are the odds I even have it?
I am so hyped you only have 1, because that card has to be like the kryptonite for this deck, you know?
We got a little bit of Graveyard Hate and Relic of Progenitus. Not only important against Lurrus, also important against Cling to Dust. So we'll leave those in. And then just 1 copy of Veil of Summer. I don't want a ton. It's really just Fatal Push that it's stopping. But the first copy is value, and there are 6 cards I want to bring out, so it's certainly better than, a single Magus of the Moon.
Yeah, makes sense. And I mean, Veil would be a lot better if I was also keeping in hand Disruption. And I don't know if I'm necessarily supposed to be taking it out, but I really want these 4 cards because you kill Lurrus pretty aggressively with non-exile based base removal.
Yeah.
So I think Unearth is actually quite good against you. And then drawing Hand Disruption late game is a nightmare. But there are key turns. Turn 1, if I don't have a Prowess creature or a removal for your birds, it is nice to be able to take a peek at your hand, but I think the cost is too much just for it being bad on the late game.
Yeah.
Like if I drew that at the last turn instead of well, I guess that still would have won because it would have been a Prowess trigger. But you know what I mean. When I needed a burn spell, and I draw an Inquisition, it feels so bad.
It's also a card that doesn't function well against a deck that has so much redundancy like this one. I have so many 3s. Like you're gonna hope to just take a removal spell most of the time.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time you're just gonna look at a hand with a bunch of interchangeable 3-drops and have to take one of them.
Exactly. And companions, the whole thing of Hand Disruption when you're playing these hyper aggressive decks is to make their next turn awkward. But if you put this any bit towards when you have 5 mana, you're going to have a play regardless that I can't interact with, and then all of a sudden Hand Disruption looks really bad. So I like the just putting down to 4 Hand Disruptions, even in sideboard, not adding any more, because that used to be something that these Rakdos style decks would do, is just go up to like 7 or 8 Hand Disruption spells up against Tron or Control or something like that. But in a new companion world, they're just not as good. So I like the decision by Canister to just stay at 4.
Yeah.
Use it as a key turn to pick away like a Wrath or something. But yeah.
I completely agree. They're just not what they used to be.
Agreed. God, this decks just feels so tiny.
I've been playing with Lurrus the entire time.
Yeah. No preview cards anymore now that we got the real thing. And they look gorgeous, I have to say. But yeah, also this is just 60 cards. I mean, what a thing of the past, huh?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what you've been playing the whole time. All right, Rob, do you got a question for us?
Yeah, so given with this Prowess deck, we haven't really seen Abbot of Carroll Keep see play before. Yeah. Is part of that just because the strength of its exile effect is so good right now, or is it just that you need just 12 Prowess creatures and it just happens to be the one that fits Lurrus?
It was so close to being good, and we've seen it a little bit in red base aggressive decks in the past, but in like 2 or 3 at most. But now, you know what? You just want another Prowess creature, and what else really is there that's really good? So it makes sense to me. I think 12 creatures is perfect. And I mean, Abbott does some insane things to get you over the finish line.
Obviously very good with Lurrus.
Yeah.
It made its way into the deck because you needed to cut Bedlam Reveler, and it was the next best option.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
But in a Lurrus world, it honestly, even if Lurrus didn't have that restriction, but because it's recurable with Lurrus, it's still it works really, really well in the deck.
Yeah.
Also, the extra land drops it gives you are mitigated by Cling to Dust and Lurrus. So you're pretty happy to make extra land drops because you have things to do with your mana.
Mm-hmm.
So it does just work really, really well in the deck. That said, it only made its way into the deck because you were forced to cut Bedlam Reveler.
Yeah, now that makes total sense about Reveler. I was kind of thinking, what else was this deck playing? But it was totally Reveler. Reveler was great in this. But yeah, and I don't know if you've ever had the joy of doing this, going Abbott on turn 2 just to get a Prowess creature and you flip a Bauble. Oh,
I'm not that lucky.
Of course. You flip a Manamorphose and then draw a Bauble, right?
That's generally how it works.
Yeah.
How it works is I mulligan.
You mulligan. And you know how it works over here? To be fair, I mulligan a lot less than you, and that may cost me some more games here and there. I tend to lean more towards the Seth Manfield approach. It's still not full on Seth, I think, but not full Ross. I think you mulligan a little more aggressively, which is the thing to do, I think, but...
It depends on the format. Modern historically has been a format where you want to mulligan aggressively.
Yeah,
and I've played a lot of Modern over the last 4 or 5 years. You've played a lot more Standard, a format where I do think you want to keep more loose hands.
Oh, yeah. But it also helps when I just draw pure gasoline hands repeatedly, so that's also a nice factor.
It's a nice aspect of that deck. You don't mulligan a lot.
Yeah, no, you really don't.
Very consistent.
Because you just don't need many lands, and all your cards functionally kind of do the same thing. So,
but you don't need many lands. But if you have a 3 or 4 land hand, that's perfectly fine.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why this deck is just designed very well. So I'm a big fan. And honestly, before the whole Yorion hype, this used to be my style of deck, y'all. Just Rakdos based cheap aggressive decks that interacted in sweet ways. Like Kaladesh, give me Smuggler's Copter, Rakdos all over again. That was my stuff, man. That was my stuff.
I'm going to keep this one. The hand is pretty good.
Okay.
It's one of these two cards that is the obvious card to,
Want me to pick?
Has to be to put back. And I'm unsure exactly which one. We got a little bit of redundancy in effect on this one, but it is more powerful. Nah, I think I'm going to try to diversify my hand.
All right, let's do it, Mr. Merriam.
I'll start on Forest Birds,
All right.
like first game.
Okay. This game's going to be a little bit different. I get to bolt the bird. I'm going to get a... I think I'm going to get a Blood Crypt here.
So you're at 17?
Yep, and then pass to you.
Okay, I will play Windswept Heath and pass the turn.
All right. So I got a nice little lightning bolt time walk out of that. You can always be happy about that. All right, here is an interesting choice. If we can look at my hand here, Rob, this is a trap that I think people fall in, is just like cast this whenever you can. I don't think you ever want to do that. I think you want, as long as your hand is functioning, you want to just get your prowess creatures down first. So is it a bobble, you think? I'll play a bobble. Oh, okay, pass to you.
And Seth, I'm going to shock and stomp.
Okay.
So I'm at 17.
The old shock and stomp.
Classic.
Okay, so you're at 17. We got a Bone Crusher. That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad for me, but I still want to get a creature down. Waiting till turn 3 to play around Bone Crusher, might have been better. But if you don't have it, it feels really bad to not get a creature. All right, let's do it.
True. So we got 17 all.
17 all. Yep.
Land, please.
Okay.
That's for a forest and play Clothis.
Oh no. Okay. So you're at 16?
Yep.
All right. Done?
Yeah. I could choose to get another red source there because of Seasoned Pyromancer and Obosh, but I really want to protect my life total a little bit.
Makes sense. I'm going to play an Abbot now.
Yep.
Foothills, and we don't really have much else we can do.
Actually, Clothis gives me second red too, so that's
I'll pass to you.
not a problem. Okay, before you have K command mana up, let's exile the Abbot.
Okay.
So you go to 15, I go to 18.
Yep.
And I will play Bone Crusher Giant.
Okie dokie.
Pass the turn.
All right, well, I'm going to have to take a big chunk of life here because I got to get the Blood Crypt.
So you're going to fetch to 12
So
and then
5.
go to 10 from the Bone Crusher Giant trigger.
Yeah, that's not great.
10 is not a lot of life.
Not great. Not great at all.
So we got 10 to 18.
Correct. Thank you for that. All right, 10 to 18. We're going to need one heck of a few turns here. Let's see. I kind of want to just start with this. Have a nice setup turn here. If you have your one of anger, I'm going to be angry, believe it or not. Abbot?
Yep. Perfect.
I'd like to return your creature, please. Well, that's not going to work too well. Going to play a Soul Scour Mage and get in there for 2.
I go to 16.
Your turn.
That was the most tilting draw possible.
Excellent. Anger? Anger with no red? I guess you'd have red, but... All right, so we got 10 to 16, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You have 2 cards in hand?
2.
I will exile your lightning bolt, I guess.
Lightning bolt? All right, in response.
You're going to cling it?
Yep. Go to 9. So it technically gains me a life here. I think it's totally worth it. So I don't get drained. All right. Cling, bolt, draw a card.
Yep.
Okay. Do your worst.
Sprawl named Red.
And anger.
That's the turn. That would be pretty good.
Yeah. All right. So let's start doing some cooking here. All right, bobble trigger.
You have 2 in hand?
2 in hand, yep.
Those triggers on the stack.
Okay.
2 in hand. I'm at 16.
16.
8.
Yeah, there's some world that you're dead here. I don't know if it's this world, but there's some world.
Yeah, I don't think I can hold here. So I'm just going to bolt an Abbot with the Prowess triggers on the stack.
In response. Metamorphose?
Sure.
I'll go with red. All right, so this is up to a 3/2. Dang it. I could cling. You said you wanted this trigger to resolve first, right? No. Okay.
It's on stack.
Okay. That's probably a good call. All right. It is dead.
Okay. Bobble's good.
All right. So there's 2 triggers off these. I still have 2 red floating. I'm going to bobble you. Okay. That's a good one. Use my black. Have 1 red floating. Lurrus. Bobble.
Yep.
And bolt you.
Bolt brings me to 13.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 8, 9, 10, 11. Take 11.
I go to 2.
Yep. And not played a land.
You having Black Lucas was pretty good for me.
Yeah. I had Metamorphose Bolt, so if I got into any spell, you were just absolutely toast. And then I'll pass to you.
Okay, I'll gain 8.
Okay.
Go to 10.
10 to 9. Draw during your turn. You got a Kitchen Fanks. Now you got a Kitchen Sank.
What do I exile with Clothis?
Yeah, it seems like Klinger Abbot you're probably deciding about. I would imagine. Because the rest of the spells kind of are whatever. They're hard to bring back.
Yeah. I think I'm sort of okay if you cling.
Yeah.
So maybe not, seeing as I probably have to exile a spell and play the 3-drop I just drew rather than exile a land and play Obosh.
And it's a Kitchen Finks I know about.
Yeah, I guess you know about this. So the cling could potentially exile the Finks with the persist trigger on the stack.
Yep. And now I remembered that that's an option.
Which is awkward. Regardless, I'm going to end at 12 and you're going to end at 7.
Yep. I just put you down to 2, though. What is this? I guess life goes on, but...
If I exile the Abbot, you still just get to Bauble, which I think you're pretty fine with.
Yep.
Especially because the Bauble and the Cling, Bauble and Cling, work well because the Bauble costs 0.
Yeah.
I think I exiled the Cling because then at least there's some tension. Like you only get one of the Abbot or Bauble.
Yeah, I think that's probably pretty good.
So exile the Cling.
Okay.
We'll play the Finks. So that's going to put me to 14.
And then that costs 3, but...
because I don't get mana with it. So 3 for that, and then pass the turn.
All right, bobble you. Okay. Draw 2. 1, 2. Not the best of draws. To end the turn. I think it's more valuable to play Abbot, but maybe not. Because Bobble will, your Clothis will be able to get my Bobble if I don't put it into play, but it's just not that good right now. So I think I would rather get something that essentially draws me a card as well as is a creature. So Abbott.
Yep.
Oh, that's not good.
You have 3 in hand?
Yep. That was heinous. I'll attack.
So this suggests a maximum of 1 spell in Corey's hand. He's a non-creature spell, because otherwise the Soulscar Mage would be attacking. It also suggests that you don't have a lightning bolt. Otherwise you could just kill the Kitchen Finks, and Soulscar would mean it doesn't persist back.
Das is true.
Could have a fatal push that you just didn't get Revolt for, but no, you would then almost assuredly would have just bobbled, pushed this. I guess then it would just come back. That's not great. Maybe you have a push. If I trade with the Abbot, then you just get to rebuy it next turn. But I think me buying time is pretty good. So I'm just going to block.
Okay.
Persist.
Yep.
I gain another 2. I go to 16.
And then I'll pass to you.
I will draw.
Okay. I know you got a lightning bolt here, which is a pretty good draw.
You could definitely have a Colgan's Command here to rebuy Abbott and kill Kitchen Finks. But I think this is a turn where I just want to play a 5-drop and hole up that way. Like, I'm at 16. Your hand is pretty clearly not very good.
Hey, you don't know that.
So I'm going to exile your Bloodstained Mire.
Okay.
Make a red. And
Obosh
play Obosh.
Okay.
And pass the turn. And now Corey knows about the Lightning Bolt, so he knows he's dead between Clothis and Bolt if he doesn't deal with the Obosh.
That is also true. Okay, so I think we're going to start with an Abbot. I may play this, I may not.
Yeah. Not a very good hit.
Not a very good hit at all. I think I have to just play the other Abbot and hope for something good here. Pretty dead here since my hand is bad. All right, we'll try another Abbot. Oh, that could be good. All right. Metamorphose for red and black.
Yep.
Oh, lots of tilt. Oh, that's such a tilt. Okay, so these cannot attack. Unearth was an awkward draw. I wish I would have kept Abbott. I just got a cycle.
Okay.
Okay, and now I'd have to attack with Lurrus just to stay alive, but I just had lands.
You're still dead.
Yep.
This steals 4 and this steals 6.
Yep.
So even if you gain 3.
Oh yeah, Obosh makes Clothis insane. Yeah.
I don't gain 4, but it deals 4.
Yeah, the turn you played Kitchen Finks, I had 2 lands in hand. I drew 2 lands off Bobble, and if I would have had like Lightning Bolt or something like that, I think I would have had a very good chance of winning. But happens.
Yeah. Clothis continues to be very, very impressive.
Yeah, Clothos realistically would have won you both games, And taking the Cling, I think, was super right, just because if you don't take Cling, then for the rest of the game, I'm making Clothis pretty bad. Yeah, I'm just gonna play the kind of control route, and just whatever you target, either escape it or Cling it. Even if you target a creature, like whatever, gain 3,
And ultimately, I needed to resolve one in order to get the 5th mana. So I had Lucas stuck in my hand too. Initially, I thought like maybe I would set that up, but the turn where I had a creature in play and I was untapping, but I really needed to gain life or deal with your graveyard. That was the turn I drew the Utopia Sprawl instead of land 5.
Yes, it's always a Utopia Sprawl. I love it. Well, hey, we got a good game 3 going on, which is always nice.
Yeah, hopefully I have turn 2 Clothis for the 3rd straight game.
Hey, this is the game I get to go first. I'm feeling good about that. I've been on the draw in the last 2 games, so this should be nice. Prowess decks, believe it or not, want to be on the play. I'm serious. You can get the fact checkers here. All right, Rob, do you got any questions here for us while we shuffle up?
I do. Histeus was asking about the tournament that's been announced for Arena, where it's a 2-day tournament and day 1 is best of 1, and they were wondering what kind of strategies you would look to play in a best of 1 tournament like that.
Yeah, and honestly, I was thinking about a special Versus Live show to highlight that, getting ready for it. It'd be something really cool, because did you hear about this?
Yeah, the
tournament's best of 1 day 1 to qualify, and then you can just win 2 grand on day 2, playing best of 3. I don't know how much it's going to change. I think me personally, I'm just going to play a teched out Yori and Luca deck for the best of 1 deck, and just like more anti-aggro cards. Play some Clarion's main where you normally wouldn't, and try to beat aggro decks down. And then when it comes best of 3, just play a normal Jeskai Luca deck. That's my initial plan, but I could see something else being better or more thought out than that. But
after the Mythic Invitational a year ago or 2 years ago,
I think it was 2 years ago already,
where aggro seemed to reign supreme in best of 1. You think that's where everyone's going to migrate. So then you can be a level ahead and play a deck with a lot of anti-aggro cards.
Yep. And that's like what Esper Control was too. It was like those were the 2 decks back then. Yeah.
It was aggro and anti-aggro. So that's generally you probably want to be in one of those 2 camps.
Yeah.
If you can find an aggro deck that is somewhat resilient. The cycling aggro deck with Zenith Flare seems like it can compete if people just kill its creatures still.
It's a great game 1 deck,
Yeah, so that's the deck that initially springs to my mind.
Yeah.
Obviously I would want to be an aggressive deck, but I would not want to be one like like mono black or something like that really is just spraying the battlefield and dying to Clarion. So I would want to have some reach or some sort of plan going along, and it seems to me like Zenith Flare is the best one.
Yeah, no, and I mean, that deck is pretty one-dimensional and easy to beat post-sideboard because it does the same thing, but game 1, it's pretty tricky, I mean, it does its thing, and you got to be prepared for it. Now, I personally think a Luca deck can compete with it if you have a bunch of Wraths and stuff in the main. So that's where I would lean, but honestly, I think it's just going to be play what you think is good. And there's a lot of percentages where you can look at tournaments from like the last weekend and look at like game 1 percentages and stuff like that. That stuff's going to be pretty valuable. Just to check out what decks are winning a lot game 1 and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be a fun event.
When is it exactly?
It's this weekend.
Oh, I didn't realize it was so soon.
I think it's either this weekend or next weekend. No, it's next weekend. It's the 30th. Yeah.
30th, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
got to get your arena ready.
Oh, the 30th. That's why there was all that discourse about whether next Saturday means the 23rd or the 30th.
Yeah. I guess
that was the whole thing on Twitter.
Yeah, it always branches from some magic announcement, right? All right, shall we get to it?
Yeah, let's do it.
This hand is iffy. It has a pretty big problem, but I do think it's good enough in this matchup.
I am definitely keeping my hand.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to keep as well. It's a little awkward. I'm going to take 2, play a seal, and pass to you.
You're at 18.
Yep.
I am going to make you sad with a Utopia Sprawl.
Okay.
I will name red.
Okay. Untap.
Nice Seal of Fire.
Nice Seal of Fire, bro. All right, let's sack this. I will get a mountain. Actually, I maybe should get a Blood Crypt here. Yeah, just in case.
So you're going to 15?
Yep. All right.
Send Abbott.
No, a little worse. I'm going to Metamorphose for red-black. Okay. I'm going to use the black to cling my Foothills.
Okay.
So I got a red floating and pass to you.
Well, I'm very happy about this start from Corey.
I mostly thought for sure you were going to play a creature, so I was like, oh, the seal's at least going to be nice.
Okay. I'm going to crack fetch for another forest and then play Kitchen Finks.
Okay.
Which also looks good against seal.
Sure does.
You clearly don't have a Soulscar Mage because you would have cast it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to 19, then go up to 21.
Okay.
And I'll pass the turn. So my draw lined up essentially perfectly against Corey's.
Yeah, and I just keep drawing trash over here. All right. Well, we did get an Abbot. I'm gonna flip. Got a land, which is nice. And then I will pass to you.
Okay. I will attack for 3.
The beatdowns. Well, I think I'm gonna have to kill this the old-fashioned way of double killing it, which is not fun, but I might as well do this to save some life.
Let's persist. I will go to 23.
Yep.
Play a bird with a red floating.
Okay.
Play a Relic of Progenitus. Tap the relic. Have you exile a card?
Okay. I'll get rid of a Metamorphose.
Play a tapped Stomping Ground.
Okay.
And pass the turn.
End step, I'm going to Bolt Finks. Non-tap.
Yep.
Draw. All right. I'm going to play Lurrus.
Okay. In response to that, I'm going to pop the relic so that you cannot play land Seal of Fire.
Play Bobble. I'll sack it, targeting you. Play Bobble. And attack for 4.
I will go to 19.
And sorry, I forgot what it was. Okay. Your go. Draw on your turn.
Okay. Stomp the Lurrus.
Okay. On an adventure there.
It's going to come off an adventure. We'll just cast it and then pass the turn.
Bobble you. Okay. Draw 2. 1, 2. All right. Well, it's going to be a busted turn. This is going to be absolutely busted. So let's start with our Prowess creature. Then let's go Metamorphose. And I'm going to go black, black.
That's not good. Sounds like Corey has the Unearth.
Black, black. Unearth Lurrus.
Yep. Black floating.
Yep. Bobble. Play and sack. Now the real question is, do we want to play this? I feel like if you had anger, you probably would have done that already. Yeah, I'm not going to play around anger. I think I'm too far behind. Or at least was at the start of this turn.
So you're at 14 now?
Yep. So black and red floating now. So 14 to 23, right?
I'm at 19. I took a 4-point attack last turn.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so 19 to 14.
Yep.
So with
red,
the black, push that.
Take 2. You go to 12.
Yep. And then play this and attack for.
So you had 1. You have
2,
4 spells.
3, 4. 4 spells. So 8, 9,
11.
10, 11. Yeah.
I go to 8.
Go to 8, and then I'll pass to you. Believe I know your draw. Yep. So I know you have Elf and Bolt.
I'm at 8. Okay, let's Bolt Lurrus.
Okay.
Let's do it this way. Bolt Lurrus with the red from that.
Yep.
play Arbor Elf.
Okay.
Play Life Goes On, go to 16.
Okay. Life does go on.
And pass the turn.
Bobble you. Okay. Untap. Draw 2. 2. So I know nothing about your hand, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
You have 4 in hand?
I have 4, yep. Well, that Arbor Elf is annoying just because it does threaten 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So I think I want to try to control that if I can. So let's go with Swift Spear, K command, 2 to this, return Lurrus. And crash.
This is going to be for 9.
6, 7, 8, 9. Yep.
Okay. I'm going to gain 8, so I take 1. So I'm at 15.
Okay, your turn. The classic is burn good when you're... And I looked at that card, but I forgot already. Oh, it was...
It's a mountain.
That's right, that's right. You can Obosh and then double your bird's damage.
I'll definitely play an Obosh.
Okay.
And I'll pass the turn.
All right. Let's see.
4 again.
3.
3 after the land, yeah.
Yep.
And one of them is Lurrus.
One of them's Lurrus, correct. So Lurrus threatens to be a spell. And you're at 15. I'll attack.
Interesting that Corey did not play Lurrus Bauble before attacking.
Is that interesting, Ross?
Yes.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting, actually.
Initially, I would think that suggests a Cling to Dust, but play Cling, escape Cling doesn't really get you anywhere. It gets you to 13 damage, which is not lethal, nor does it get any of your creature. It doesn't get Abbott outside of Obosh range. Mm-hmm. So if you did that after me blocking Abbott, per se, the Abbott would just die and I would take 9. I don't think that's something you would want to do. If you had just a Lightning Bolt, you could easily go Lurrus Bauble first and just get an extra Prowess trigger. So do you have the second K command as a way to make this a 1 in combat? That is what I'm thinking. That you have second K command, because that's the only card that...
Aren't you Sherlock Holmes trying to figure out mysteries here?
Yeah. So that's the only card that makes the Obosh block bad, because it gets all of your creatures to 2 or more toughness and makes this only 1 power. I guess, actually, no, your Obosh would still die, because it would be a 1 power and it would double. So... Or that your Abbott would still die to the Obosh block. If you had K command, maybe you have... No,
could even be a boat. You know how much we've won one of those on Versus Live?
4, 6, 9, 11.
Versus Live cruise lines.
Yeah. Oh, too good. You know one of them, though. Hey, you've pieced together one for sure. Just blocking like that?
Yeah. You've got to have some way to shrink this Obosh.
Okay. Does Emrakul come in with haste if you were to Luca?
No.
Okay, so it's just a 15-15 beater. Okay. I do have a Cling. I'm going to hit your Life Goes On.
Which one?
That one, yeah. Ooh, interesting. Oh, wish I would have did that earlier. All right, let's see if you're just dead. All right, so these are 1 spell, huh?
You have 15.
8, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, yeah, you're dead. All right. Dart you, flash it back. Culligan's command you, deal 2. So 4 spells total. That's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 damage. I did have Culligan's command and Cling. So you were correct in the assessment, but yeah, you're dead. Oh, well.
6 your thing?
6 your thing? Okay.
I mean, you're the one who cast your spells.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I did cast my spells.
I assume it would be 2 damage. I discard a card.
It would, yeah, it would probably be 2 damage. You discard a card. It'd probably be some bolts
and a fetch. We can assume I respond to the K command.
Yeah,
I think you darted first.
6 damage. Yeah, you'll be able to kill it regardless.
Yeah.
So
you fetch to 11.
Yeah. All right. Well, you got me. You got me.
You didn't flash back the dart yet, so you can keep the dart in the yard.
Okay.
But, that would have been the second spell. K command would be the third spell. I'd respond to the triggers there. So this is still a 4. Yeah.
So that's 3 spells. You would have taken 3, so you go to 12.
12.
And
Soulscar dies.
I'm debating if I want to flashback dart. Yeah. So that's 8. So you'd be going to 4. No real reason to flashback dart. Okay.
So I'm at 4. Soulscar dies. Bird dies.
Oh yeah. I guess let's dart this for 1. So take 2 more.
So I'm at 2.
Yep. Okay. Past you.
Okay. We need a good one.
Yep.
So the dart's exiled.
Dart's exiled. Yep. All right. I saw 1 bolt, but I didn't know you had the other bolt, so I definitely would have went for it regarders. So
punished for those GGs almost.
Huh?
Almost punished for those GGs.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I draw a creature, Lurrus Bauble kills me.
Yeah.
So
Lurrus Bauble push was probably going to be good.
I'm not sure what I can have.
Yeah, and like me going for it there has the risk that you just don't die, but then the risk of me dying on the crackback is pretty low when you don't have like Glorybringer. Glorybringer dealing 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Glorybringer would be exactly lethal. You know?
I most of the time I was wishing Luca was Glorybringer.
Yeah, and in this matchup for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, you know. And honestly, it seems too cute to me because the effect doesn't happen right away. You know, a 15-15 flying trampler is so like last year, you know? It's not even that good anymore, you know, because you can just go wide around it. You can combo off on your own turn. Like, I think the Luca stuff seems a little too cute for me, but of course in this matchup, Glorybringer is going to look a lot better, you know?
And I do think, an earlier, like Luca Emrakul there, I think would have been good that game because you didn't come out super fast. But
or come out at all, actually.
Yeah. what ended up happening was I drew both my life goes ons.
Yeah.
And, but you geared up for a long game.
Yeah.
And you had 2 ways to rebuy Lurrus. You even had a third at the end.
Yeah.
That you ended up not needing. And multiple ways to rebuy Lurrus just trumped me gaining 16 life.
Life Goes On is really, really good against the burn version. But with Prowess, it feels like when people brought in life gain against just like mono red and standard, when you're Ember Cleaving them, it's like, yeah, you gain some life, which is going to help a turn, but Ember Cleave goes so far over the top, Prowess goes so far over the top. I was hyped when you cast Life Goes On every time. You know, I mean, sure, it looked a little scary at the time, but I always just looked at my hand and I'm like, yeah, as long as I just get to continue playing and you didn't have stuff to progress the board like a Clothis or something like that, I was hyped that you gained 8 life. You know, it just didn't seem great.
It was good in the second game when I did have the Clothis out and I was stopping your graveyard engine from
because you had pressure.
Yeah. And then I just needed to, gain a little bit of life, make sure I didn't get cheesed out.
Yeah.
That game, I ended up popping my relic a little early. I do think I needed to because if you just had land Seal of Fire, it was going to be really rough for me. And there was a Cling in there. And I had other ways to use my mana. So actually using the mana there for the relic was something I wanted to do anyway.
Yeah. And it seems like a punt at the time for you, but it's totally correct. Because if I just go land Seal, you're right. It just so happens I didn't have a land and I drew Bobble. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to play this right away because I'm going to get you. Then just Bobble going back and forth. Because I also had Unearth, so.
Yeah.
I had a plan.
And it ended up working quite well. If I hold the relic, maybe I win because I keep you off a card or two.
Yeah.
With the Bauble because you didn't have the land. But that's just not something you can realistically do in that scenario.
And honestly, even if you relic that, like, I'm going to put other stuff in the graveyard eventually. Like, it may stop me for a turn.
But if your Lurrus is in play, then I just kill Lurrus and relic you, and then you can't get it back.
If you got that, that would have been bad.
Yeah, and I had the removal spell that, like, I killed the Lurrus.
Okay.
So that was the big thing, is maybe a post board. Maybe I do need to just risk that let you, if you steal my thing, sure, I play slow, but I guarantee get to kill Lurrus and exile it so it doesn't come back.
Yeah, like Seal is good, but Lurrus is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That interaction with Seal and Lurrus is obviously busted, but without Lurrus, it's just so much worse. And that's why it almost makes me want to have a second Lurrus in the 75 somewhere for situations like that, just so I can play it a little bit more aggressively. But then again, you do just have to find the other one copy, so maybe that's bad. I've always kind of thought about if that is actually good or not. I've played a Yorion in my main before.
Well, you can't play main deck Lurrus when you have companion Lurrus.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so that's
a good point.
That's an easy no.
We can edit that part out, what I just said, right?
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Oh, wait, it's live? Oh, okay, gotcha.
You really did see the late game power of the Rakdos Prowess deck.
Yeah.
You did not come out early at all. I had Utopia Sprawl into Kitchen Finks, strong start against an aggressive deck. Yeah. But, a bunch of life goes on instead of a really powerful follow-up on my end really doomed me because it gave you the time to just set up and then the Lurrus engine took over.
And one thing that I want to point out that Ross does and did in that game better than anyone else is look at how he pieced together what I had. Like you were onto it. I had Lurrus, Kolaghan's Command, Cling. You pieced it together perfectly, and people do not do this enough. Think, why wouldn't you do this? Why wouldn't you just bolt this and then attack? There's reasons. It's either maybe the person you're playing against, maybe makes a mistake, and then it's like impossible to read, right? But if you're playing against another good player, that they're making these plays for a reason. There's a reason I didn't play Lurrus and my prowess thing first. So taking the time to slow down and just think why, is a very important thing against this deck. And you pieced it together. It just so happens that I drew Lava Dart, which was gonna be lethal. So otherwise you had it right. But and then the bolt put you in a position where you could have won with a great draw. But
the other scenario was potentially like you had a flurry of burn spells that was going to kill me, and so that's why I chump blocked with the elf. But I also knew I had the bolt back if you went to go kill me, and if you only slightly tried to kill me, I get to attack with Obosh for 6 and try to bolt you to for lethal. Yeah. So I kind of wanted to hold the bolt back. Maybe you play Lurrus and then I attack and I force you to chump, which is also good.
Yeah. Bolt dealing 6 is just absurd. It's just a lot of damage. So absurd. And that deck gets to 6 mana pretty quick with Elf and Utopia Sprawl, that it's not that hard to just go Obosh, bolt you at their end step and then untap and kill them if I'm not pressuring you a ton, which this deck does do.
Yeah. But the strong late game is really key there in the third game. Yep. The misstep in game 1 certainly cost me. But hopefully, I can win the last 2 matches.
All right. So what are you pairing up against the Dark Horse next round?
Well, next round we're going to have a Lurrus Mirror, where I will be playing Lurrus Jund, one of the more popular decks over the last couple of weeks, and really going to put this deck to the test playing against a grindy mid-range deck. And typically Jund is the hallmark of this. It's the best at doing it. But this Rakdos Prowess deck is going to give it a run for its money, even on that axis.
Exactly. Mid-range decks usually do beat up control decks pretty well, and that's been Prowess's kind of weakness. And 4-color copycat urine fires, of course, but people aren't respecting that deck enough. But we'll see if Jund can take down the aggressive decks. We're going to take a short 5-minute break, and we'll be right back for round number 2 here on Versus Live.